I'm seated with one Mr. Mapesa Nelson, of course, who is the Public Communications Officer of course, in Netfund, here to talk about the environment and, of course, how we can be able to position ourselves. And, of course, he'll be also talk about the awards that are there for, green innovation. He's going to talk about that so that you can be able to know how exactly you can be able to step into that and become the best person that you can ever be. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Martin.
Yes. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
I want you to turn to this particular camera, speak to the guys at home, tell them any information that I left out that you may need to know, they may need to know about you and Netfund as well. And of course, say hi to Kenyans.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, KUTV, for this opportunity. My name is Nelson Mapesa. I am a Public Communications Officer at National Environment Trust Fund. Netfund is a state corporation under the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. It was established under the Environmental and Management Act, EMCA, of 1999. And our main purpose, our core business, is to envision Kenya, a country where each and everyone is responsible, rather takes personal initiatives and community responsibility to take care of the environment. Netfund runs an annual Green Innovations Award program.
Yes.
That right now it is on its 4th phase. In the Green Awards program, we motivate Kenyans, we motivate individuals to come out strongly with ideas and initiatives that can help to sustain our environment. For example, just the other day, issues of climate change are so real. It is happening. We cannot predict like years before when you used to tell it is a planting season, it's a harvesting season, because of so many things that are happening. And that's why Netfund exists. Therefore, we have got for them different thematic areas where one can be able to participate. The first thematic area is attainment of 10% tree cover. We have seen efforts with the government and the Ministry of Environment led by Honorable Keriako Tobiko. He has done so much trying to encourage the planting of trees. And Netfund, how we tackle this, we are raising tree nurseries in each and every county. Like, for example, during the Mau, we have been active participating in terms of reinstating Mau forest. We contributed seedlings and we raised tree nurseries so that in future we can have seedlings available for each and every Kenyan to be able to go and plant trees. Now, for you to be able to get into a ward with an initiative under tree planting, we are looking at technologies that can be able to grow seedlings, that can be able to conserve trees in an enhanced and a technologically improved manner. And
I want us to go slightly deeper into that, because when people hear about technology, they think about gadgets and everything, and that is not the case for environment. Can you explain a little bit of what you mean by technology, in terms of, especially in terms of ensuring that we have 10% tree cover, as you say? Bearing in mind the traditional way of having trees is that trees take a long time to mature, and of course offer the solutions to the environment and nature as it should be. So what is technology in this particular line?
When we talk of technologies, it starts with planting a tree, understanding how to plant a tree. Just the other day you find people saying they are planting trees, but they even don't know the kind of seedlings and even the soil texture, soil moisture, where to go and plant these trees. So as experts, we are looking for initiatives that can be even be able to detect the nature of the soil and advise on particular tree seedlings to be planted. For example, in Netfund phase 3 of the award, we supported an individual at JKUAT University who's doing soil testing. So he's using the technology to test soil and advise what can be planted there.
Does that mean a lot of testing in the labs?
Not necessarily.
Of samples?
Not necessarily. They have got a gadget.
Oh,
they come to
now.
where you are.
All right.
Yes. Or they can even come and sample your soil, take it to where the offices are, and be able to look at it and advise.
Yes.
And then we also focus on waste management. Waste is a menace. That you have talked of plastic ban in Kenya.
Yes.
And we all know what plastics have been doing to our environment. What we do under waste management, we are looking at initiatives. For example, how can we make use of plastics to our advantage? How can we make money out of waste? And at this point, we have supported quite a number of innovations across the country. Case in point, we have got guys who are using plastic wastes, who are recycling plastic wastes to come up with many other, like building materials. They're actually using plastics to redo and come up with building materials that are now replacing the normal iron sheet. And then we are also looking at air pollution management. For example, today go to town,
yes,
or even here on traffic. The first thing you see is smoke from vehicles. And today everyone, there are thousands and thousands of vehicles on the road headed to town. Go to CBD.
Yes.
It's highly polluted by that smoke. What if we kind of be creative, instead of having like 1,000 vehicles going to town, we have fewer vehicles. If you're coming from a common area with someone who is driving, you can drive along and just...
Definitely, like people live in estates.
Sure.
We can have like an estate vehicle that goes to a certain area.
Very true.
Is that part of climate innovation, if I may ask?
Sure.
That is part of, because it saves on the climate as well.
Yeah, it cannot appear to be contributing as much, but it contributes. Trust you me, it contributes. And then we are also looking at environmental education and awareness. And for Netfund, for the phase 4 of the award, we have got different categories I'll talk about.
Yes.
But just to mention, we have got a category that is focusing at journalists. What are you doing as journalists to enhance habits and to cultivate interest of Kenyans to be able to conserve the environment? So through the journalistic programs that we have on our televisions, we are looking at the programs that are helping Kenyans to conserve environment, which are giving information.
Like our very own Earth Check, which is a program on environmental conservation.
And actually I haven't seen you guys apply for the award, so I don't know. This award.
We shall be keen, of course. Our very able environment reporter and of course host of the Earth Check, Anarita Mashari, will be there. She's an environmentalist by profession, and of course she'll be getting to make sure that we back her up as we come to, of course, to apply for the same. You know, and it's good that I notice you're involving the entire fraternity and all the professions that we can have as human beings. The big question, the big concern is how does the common mwananchi jump into the bandwagon? Because I'm not sure whether you guys involve the common mwananchi in the counties, or do you just involve the county officials? How do you touch on the common mwananchi to make sure that he is also, the Wanjiko is also very keen on conserving the environment? The Wanjiko is keen on planting a tree.
We are looking at the community forest associations.
Yes.
And if you go back to a county, for example, Kirinyaga, they have got quite a number of community groups, CBOs, that are led by women and the common mwananchi in terms of planting trees and just cleaning environment and all that. So those are, it's one of the key people who can apply. We are also looking at the youth groups, which I mean, if you go back to our community, youth groups are composed of common mwananchi, that the ones who are advocating for the environment. We are looking at tertiary institutions, whereby now we can find students and everyone to participate. We are looking at medium enterprises, which comprises of common mwananchi. We are looking at secondary schools, primary schools. We are also looking at community-based organizations, so that they can be able to come in and apply for the award.
Amazing. And now Kenyans are known to be very good people of very good deeds. And of course, seeing that you're involved in Kenyans is a very good thing. But of course, we see a number of problems in the country right now. And one of the biggest problems, not just in Kenya, but all over the world, is unemployment. People don't have jobs. How do you use Netfund and this initiative and the awards to make sure that people get jobs, a number of people get jobs, so we can at least reduce the number of people who are unemployed in this day and age?
Martin, I want to assure you, rather to speak to Kenyans and tell them that environment has enough to offer for everyone in terms of jobs, in terms of food on the table, but it only depends on how we take care of our environment across the country. Starting with Narok County, we have got a project, an enterprise that is making briquettes, that is making briquettes out of kitchen wastes. And right now, as we speak, hotels such as Sarova Stanley are using the briquettes instead of charcoal. So this guy is saving our environment from cutting down of trees, but at the same time, earning out of, and he has employed quite a number of the youths. If we go to Muranga, we have got a gentleman called Magiro that we have supported through the program. He has established hydropower just from the stream, the river stream. And right now, as we speak, he has supplied almost 250 households
with power.
With power.
Power enough to like run a 240 volts in socket and all.
And it's even being used for welding.
Okay.
And in the process, he has employed quite a number of youths. So, I mean, those are few cases. Maybe in Kisumu, there's a guy who is producing peppers out of water hyacinth. And the hyacinth itself, it's a
Did you say peppers?
Yeah, peppers. Peppers,
like,
biro pens.
Like?
Yeah, notebooks.
From the leaves of hyacinth?
Water hyacinth.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which are avenues that are creating employment out of just taking good care of the environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. And of course, that's very commendable. And of course, anyone watching me right there back at home, you already hear of so many opportunities you can jump into, and of course, make sure that you get involved in this environmental conservation as you earn something for yourself. You make change as you earn for yourself. As Mr. Mapesa has said that, you know, I mean, you give whatever you give to the environment, it gives back to you. And if you abuse the environment, then it abuses you in one way or the other.
Sure.
And of course, as we get to, you know, looking to wind up this particular conversation, it's good to note that the world is going green, because we have actually realized that it's the only way to go. It's the only way, because the environment has really been affected by the way we live. I would want to call it a lifestyle disaster, because many people are reckless now with the environment, and of course we are going green, and there's a lot of climate change. As you said before, farmers don't know when to plant anymore, because it rains today heavily, and then it doesn't rain. It rains again after a month.
Yeah.
What do you think is the future of our country? What do we need to do? And going the fact that we are going green. You know, I was talking to a friend talking about why don't farmers why are farmers not doing greenhouses? But someone said greenhouses cannot be able to cater for such a huge, you know, amount of food. What is the future? What do we do? Like, we are planting at the right time, but it's the wrong time. It becomes the wrong time. Locusts come, they eat whatever we have planted. What's the future?
Actually, it is very interesting that history has it that our forefathers' parents used to predict, and they could tell what will happen.
Yes.
Just by looking at weather. But today you cannot. Looking at the future, if we continue to embrace practices that favors our environment, we will be assured of a good country, a good world to live in. But if we continue burning down the forests, if we embrace power source and the likes in our forests, there is nothing that will change. In fact, it will be worse. But I just want to call upon each and every Kenyan to take it to heart and plant trees, conserve trees. Don't just plant, and grow them. And another thing about air pollution, I know there are authorities such as NEMA in place, and they are really doing their best with the support of the government to ensure that the issues to do with air pollution, safe environment, I know they are going to pull up their socks just to ensure that we prepare a better tomorrow. Yeah.
Amazing. And of course, seeing at how we can actually come together. It's a collaborative effort, as you say. And of course, it's about me doing this and you doing this and everyone doing this. But we have a crisis right now. Before that further future that we're talking about, we have the future like tomorrow, like 24 hours from now, like a week from now, like a month from now, like 6 months from now. Looking at the projections from FAO and other organizations, we might not have enough food, not just in Kenya, but in Africa.
In Africa,
What is the input of the government? What is the input of agencies like yours to make sure that we get there?
That's an interesting question, Martin. And one, I must thank our government because it's doing its best. But again, to bring it down to what Netfund is mandated to do, in terms of responsibility of using environment and improving on the enterprises, we are encouraging Kenyans to use organic farming, to use fertilizers which are not chemically kind of manufactured, or rather.
And where are these fertilizers found? That's also a key question.
Sure. I will give you an example of some of the initiatives we have supported. For example, in Kitale, it's now a big enterprise that is just using kitchen waste, cow dung, and so to produce fertilizers. Because you'll realize, personally, I come from Mumias. We used to use fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, to plant sugarcane. And right now, trust you me, in some of the farms, you cannot plant any other thing. You need to take time to use organic fertilizers.
Is it because the chemical fertilizers affected the soil?
Sure.
And now you can't, and there's nothing else that can flourish in that particular. If you plant sugarcane, does it do well anymore?
Again, it's still a problem. They have been there over. So my point is, Netfund is motivating Kenyans and encouraging everyone to embrace ways, different ways that can sustain fertility of our soil, and it's all about conserving our environment. Because if you use organic fertilizer, I mean, there is no chemicals. This is something that is just produced from kitchen waste, among other wastes, which is still the same way of utilizing wastes to the advantage of our crops. And I think by embracing all that, changing our attitudes, we will be able to be something.
Amazing,
to be somewhere.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. I want to give you like a half a minute to look at your camera back again and tell people where they can find you, how they can access Netfund, to make sure they also submit their innovations for their awards ceremony, and of course how they can be able to do that in half a minute. Kindly.
Thank you. Netfund is situated in Nairobi along Dunga Road, and how you can find us, you can visit our website on www.go.ke. You can also get us on our Facebook, which is Netfund Kenya, Twitter handle at Netfund Kenya. But more importantly, you can call us, you can visit NEMA offices countrywide, you can visit KFS offices countrywide, where we have our forms already. Get the form, fill it, you can take it to any post office, they will be delivered. But more importantly, it starts with you and it starts with me. It's a collective responsibility to take care of our environment, for the environment to take care of us. The deadline will be on 20th March for you to be able to be considered. Thank you.
Amazing. That has been Mr. Mapesa Nelson, of course, saying something that we say here from time to time. It begins with you. It begins with me. Of course, that's how you can submit, of course, your green innovation to, of course, for the award, for the Netfund Green Innovations Award Phase 4 2020, to make sure that you get to, of course, be there. I'm sure it's not about just winning the award. It's about the bigger picture, and that's conserving our environment and making sure that we go there. So whether you're driving, whether you're thinking of cutting down that tree, whether you're thinking of doing that particular thing that you love to do, whether you're thinking of an innovation, go green. We take a short break. We'll be right back in just but a bit to discuss on more things happening around the country that affect your business in just but a bit. Keep it here. Thank you.